I think most of us are appalled when we see masked gunmen, complete with automatic weapons, bulletproof vests, and tactical gear, take down women and children and then manhandle them into an unmarked car and whisk them off into oblivion. We know it's not much different when a faceless bureaucrat in Ottawa orders people to get out of a building and locks the doors. And that's what happened this week when tenants of the historic Amherst Armory were ordered to remove their possessions and simply get out. It's not the first time, but it certainly is the worst time. Somebody in the federal bureaucracy decided that now was the time for action. But the big question is who? The Armory and all of its history is property of the Department of National Defense. And like the shipyards of the Navy and the airstrips of the Air Force, the armories were the public face for the Army. It's where Canadians were recruited during the Great Wars. It is where they trained, and it remains where the cadet corps train. In Amherst, it is also where they display the history of a large part of Nova Scotia's contribution to earlier war efforts. It is where nearly 500 citizens are honored and remembered, nearly 500 who served overseas and never came home. And today, a faceless bureaucrat determined that all such memories should be simply tossed aside, that a remarkable history and even a more remarkable museum to honor that history is tossed into the street on zero notice. Who would do this? Nobody seems to know. Could be the Army, could be National Defense. It might even be Canada Lands. That's an agency of the federal government that manages most federal properties. And like the inhumane ICE raids in the United States, the relocation order in Amherst was given in secret, no doubt in shame. But why now? What's the urgency now? This has been the federal plan for about 30 years. They've been talking about this for 3 decades through four different members of parliament, starting way back with Bill Casey. The Department of Defense does not need armories across the country anymore. In fact, they want out of the business, and they've wanted out of that business for a very long time. And they've let a marvelous historical building rot in the process. But why this week? Canada Day, this week of all weeks. Why this week? They know that there's a move to take over the building. There's a plan in place. It's proposed by Vets Canada, endorsed by the town council and many other officials. And it's been working its way through that same bureaucracy now for a few years. The plan calls for a transformation to a unique housing project, one that would provide much needed accommodations and services for Canada's veterans, other units of affordable housing, and all the while making a permanent home for the military museum that volunteers have so lovingly nurtured over the years. There would still be a space for the cadets and for the community. The plan makes sense and has broad support as it puts together the funding and the administration to carry it out. So why not work with them? Why kick everybody to the street instead of embracing a plan that addresses so many needs and provides for the future in a building that still is full of life? Nobody knows because the bureaucrat who ordered the closure is faceless. And behind the scenes movers and shakers, the ones who are really pushing the buttons, well, perhaps they're ashamed, or at least they should be. If the Army or the DND want rid of the ongoing expense, then don't demolish the building. Give the property to the town, and we'll repurpose it for the community good, at least That's my view. I'm Bill Martin.